Two Rich Gannon touchdown passes. Gardner a touchdown run. 21-14 the Oakland Raiders.
And the difference in this ball game, Kevin, has been the 2 turnovers and the play call selection of the Arizona Cardinals. The turnovers have cost them, but the play selection has really made the difference since then.
It's 21-14 the Oakland Raiders when we take this break on CBS. Cardinals had 2 turnovers, both in their own territory. Raiders capitalized both times. 21-14 the Raiders with Randy Cross, Kevin Harlan. Some thoughts in the first half?
Well, since Dumb and Dumber and those 2 turnovers, it's been the Cardinals taking advantage of Raider mistakes and Rich Gannon putting on a clinic.
Moments ago, Beasley Reese caught up with the Arizona Cardinal head coach, Dave McGinnis.
Coach McGinnis, just kind of take us through what you told the guys at the half.
Well, basically, they've gotten 14 points off of turnovers, and I think our football team is playing with a hell of a lot of energy, and we've got what we want going. We've got to be able to control the ball a little bit more offensively, and defensively, we've got to find a way to put a little pressure on him and squeeze the middle of the field a little better. I'm pleased with what we're playing energy-wise. We've given them 2 touchdowns off turnovers. We've got to flip that in the second half, Beasley.
Thank you, Coach.
All right, Beasley, thank you. Yeah, I'm still going back to the end of the first half. Why didn't the Raiders ask for a measurement? And when Porter caught that pass near midfield, they could have slowed things down at that time. But
coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Yeah, I guess I'm still going back.
They probably
can do that. You can't ask for a measurement.
And they probably should have kept their on-field personnel down below 15 or so.
When Porter had that near midfield, I'm still surprised they didn't do that. And they kept rolling and throwing the passes, and finally to Rice, and it was too late. Here we go, kicking off the second half. Marcus Knight for the Raiders. And Kwame Lassiter brings him down about the 37-yard line on a 30-yard return. San Diego got whipped today down in Miami, so they're 7-4. Raiders a half game back. Denver plays tonight against the Colts. The Chiefs are in Seattle right now.
Yeah, I said it earlier, but I really firmly believe that the home field advantage will come out of the AFC West and the AFC. The East is going to keep beating up on each other. The North and the South won't have the records, I think, to compete with who comes out of the West. You look at Oakland and you look at Denver. I think those are the 2 teams right now going neck to neck for that home field advantage coming out of the West.
That is a heck of a division, though, isn't it? My goodness. All good teams.
Offense and more offense.
Wow. 38-yard line, 1st and 10, empty backfield. He'll empty it with Gardner going in motion.
It's not empty now.
Vanden Bosch.
Vanden Bosch is in it.
Filling in the void.
Offside, 90 feet to the quarterback, 5-yard penalty, first down.
So when Gannon says go, though, you know, Kyle, he's not talking to you. And he wants to get you off like that. He's going to be a quarterback that has got the inflection, and he's got the emphasis on his voice in the right spots where he can draw defensive linemen off. And Vanden Bosch in his defense has got to find a way to get that pressure that Dave McGinnis was just talking to Beasley Reese about.
Cardinals, the least penalized team in the NFL. Up to the 44, it's a 1st and 10 handoff, 1st and 5 handoff, and it goes to Charlie Gardner, who puts his head down and digs his way into Adrian Wilson to gain of 7 yards up to the 50-yard line.
But he also
first down.
Digs just about into Cardinals territory.
Yep.
And as bad as when it was 14-7, as bad as that, and important as that drive was for the Cardinals, this drive for Charlie Gardner and the Raiders is just as important. The focus, the clinic we saw earlier, the clinic at halftime until the mental mistake, you've got to get that back against this defense. Don't let them think they've got a chance of stopping it.
50-yard line, 1st and 10, Gannon going outside. Jerry Rice brought down by David Barrett, spinning at the 41, picking up 9 yards on the play. 4 catches and 57 yards for Jerry Rice. The Raiders lost 4 straight games. Now they've won their last 2. How would you characterize what they've done the last 2 weeks?
The one word, you know, we've talked about patience and we've talked a lot of different things. The one word you'd have to really go with is efficient. And if you add a couple other words, I think you go with focused. And the more important word might be physical. They're turning into a more physical football team for Trestman's offense.
Take charge personality.
Well, take charge would be Rich Gannon.
Yes. 2nd down, 1 from the 41. Outside quickly caught by Tim Brown. He's chased on the play by Thompson. And brought down after he does pick up a 1st down. A flag has been thrown on the play. They mark the ball at the 38. As you see the Giants on top of Houston, Green Bay and Tampa Bay before that. And what a win for Chicago. They had lost 8 straight, and they beat Detroit today in overtime.
Any win's a good win for the Bears.
Illegal shift, offense, going from an illegal position to a legal position, 5-yard penalty, second down.
And that was by the receiver on the near side of Bill Callahan's offense. Lined up, you had two receivers basically on the line of scrimmage, so you didn't have a legal receiver, and then they both tried to move back at the same time.
8 penalties on the Raiders already. Second down and 6 at the Cardinal 46. Garner in the backfield. Over the head of Charlie Garner. Incomplete. Vanden Bosch was in the vicinity. 3rd and 6.
A little of that quick pressure. You know, Beasley Reese heard from Dave McGinnis about quick pressure and turnovers and flipping the score. I'll tell you one thing. If Dave McGinnis can get those 2 touchdowns from turnovers that he gave up in the first half, his football team's got a great chance of getting another upset against a favored Oakland Raider team, much like they did last year in Oakland.
Little no huddle here by the Raiders. 3rd down and 6. And with time, finds Rice. He's got the first down, digging his way to the 38. Brought down on the play by Ray Thompson. And it is a gain of 7-8 yards and a first down.
Watch Jerry Rice running, and what he's looking for is a window. First window, no ball. Second window, ball. And the window is behind the defenders. There's slots where the linebackers were. He ran through the first window and looked, no ball. Kept kind of going, looked at the next window, and bang, there's the ball. And that's how Jerry Rice gets a defense to suck up and think short pass. And then Jerry Porter now has become the guy down the field that can hurt a defense deep.
Wheatley in the backfield, 1st and 10 from the Cardinal 38. Here comes the rush. They send Wilson after Gannon. And hit by Tanner, and out of bounds he goes. Incomplete. Lassiter was downfield and covering Jerry Porter, who's got 2 touchdown passes today from Rich Gannon.
Yeah, you know, one thing of late that has kind of, you know, it's kind of torqued me off a little bit. It's listening to people talk about, you know, you got to have a pocket quarterback. You know, Mark Trestman, you need a pocket quarterback because those are the guys that win the championships, those factor quarterbacks. You know, a mobile quarterback has never won a world championship. Well, has anybody heard of 2 guys named Montana and Young? I mean, just get a clue about this. Mobile is better than statue and will always be better than statue.
2nd and 10, 38 of Arizona. Charlie Garner zigzagging his way. There he pops free. And it looked like he was going to be brought down. He squirts ahead. LeVar Woods gets him. 8-yard gain. It looked like it might be an 8-inch gain.
And there's a good example of what you get in the Charlie Garner package. Because you look at a guy that's not real big. You're saying, Charlie's what, 5'10", about 185 pounds or so, not real huge. He gave you the little guy quick, and now right here he gives you a little bit of the medium to big guy power, bopping things up like that. He's got a lot more power and a lot more oomph behind him than people think.
And a great leader, very emotional player. 3rd down 2. Raiders have passed every 3rd down today from the Cardinal 30. Crockett in the backfield, offering a block. Gannon throws as he is hit, incomplete. Boy, the great pressure applied by Fred Wakefield, who got Gannon low. And now the question is, are they in field goal range? The longest this year by Janikowski, 47 yards, and looks like Gannon's going to call a play at the line.
Yeah, he's not going to leave the field. He was going off the field like he was getting ready to give away to Janikowski. Why leave the field, though, when you can get a quick pass to one of your wide receivers or try to get an offsides?
Porter Gardner, 4th and 2. Gannon with time. Big catch made downfield by Tim Brown, who picks up 12. Raiders convert 4th and 2, and they are at the Cardinal 18.
Tim Brown coming out of the slot. What a nice example of what a receiver is supposed to do on a 4th down play like this. Watch Tim Brown just kind of throttle down. Here he comes. Throttle down, sit. It's a veteran move. Young receivers don't do that. They learn that from old receivers like Tim Brown. 9th
play of the drive coming up. 18-yard line, 1st and 10. Garner, a Richie block. He slashes inside and dives to the 12. You know, you were talking before about the Raiders being efficient, kind of a studious team in a lot of ways because of all their age and all their experience. Does this team reflect their quarterback as much as any single team in the NFL?
Yeah, I think also their coach. You know, I think you know, for all the John Gruden, you know, Chucky dolls and screwy faces and all that stuff, might have been a little distraction for this team. I think they're more of a calm, focused team, much like Bill Callahan.
2nd and 5 inside the 13. After converting the 4th and 2 moments ago, Raiders continue to plow into Cardinal territory outside Charlie Garner. And head first into the 2-yard line. He picks up a first down. 1st and goal for the Raiders. David Barrett with the tackle. It's a gain of 11 on 2nd down and 5. Now it's 1st and goal.
I know one thing. David Barrett was coming in from his corner position, kind of like I'm coming after a smaller back. Watch from the left, the blur is Barrett. But the bigger blur and harder blur right there is Charlie Garner. The shoulders down, blasting through, going for those extra yards.
Wheatley in the backfield. Ritchie ahead of him. 1st and goal at the 2. And Tyrone Wheatley walks into the end zone for a touchdown.
Barry Sims, Matt Stinchcomb, and Doug Jolly just pancake that side to open up those blocks and watch block here, block here, block here. That whole left side of the Raiders offensive line. Bang by Barrett, down. Wow, that's physical. And that's not physical by the Cardinals. Everybody's looking around, walking around, waiting for somebody else to make the tackle.
Janikowski's extra point. And another 14-point lead. Raiders led earlier 14-0 as Tyrone Wheatley goes in to the end zone for the first time this year. His first touchdown. And it's 28-14, the Oakland Raiders. I think you just used the word efficient in the last series.
That's the 7th score on the opening kick of a second half for the Oakland Raiders. 4 touchdowns now and 3 field goals, and capped off by Tyrone Wheatley in his 2-yard run.
Former 1,000-yard gainer 2 years ago, and the ensuing kickoff by Sebastian Janikowski. Kevin Casper at the goal line. They'll dance in and out of the shadow, and brought down on the play by the newest Oakland Raider, a kid named Tim Johnson, linebacker signed off the practice squad. We've got a timeout.
CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. Bud Light, for the great taste that won't fill you up and never let you down, make it a Bud Light. And by the Civic from Honda, a car you never have to think about.
Raiders today have had 4 possessions in the red zone, 4 touchdowns, 28-14 over Arizona.
That guy in the middle, right there. Yeah, that's stay upwind is all I got to tell you. that looks pretty bad.
From the 22, 1st and 10. Marcel Shipp in the backfield, over 100 yards today on the ground. And dancing his way into the grasp of Rod Woodson and Eric Barton. Travian Smith, gain of 3 up to the 25. 2nd down and 7.
And this is exactly what Jake Plum and his offense have to do, because it doesn't take a real rocket scientist to sit here and watch this game, see what Rich Gannon and this offense is doing for the Oakland Raiders, to know that Shipp running the ball for the 125 yards on 13 carries, you got to keep that thing going, keep that ship floating.
2nd down and 7. I like that one. On the 25. Shipp, Bush with the block, out of the reach of Lawrence Grant, and thrust down by Barton. And a gain of 3. That'll bring up 3rd down and about 4. He's brought down and at the 27 as we send you to New York and Jim Nantz.
All right, thanks, Kev. I tell you, the Seahawks are on fire. 3rd time today, Hasselbeck throws a touchdown. It's Corin Robinson. Get this, only the 2nd touchdown catch by a Seahawk receiver on the season. Robinson won today and won earlier in the year. They lead by 11. Let's go back to Kevin and Randy.
Thank you, Jim. Corin Robinson, one of the emerging stars among wide receivers in the AFC.
And there's the explosion factor. Eventually, even a bad team's going to explode on somebody.
27, 3rd and 4. Plummer through the hands of Sanders, almost picked off on the deflection by Barton. And the Cardinals have got a punt.
It's not often on one play you can see a ball touch 4 hands.
But it did.
And you're going to see it again. I mean, Barton has a chance at it. Sanders has a chance at it. They both get both hands. Got one there. You got one there. You got one there. Actually, I was wrong. Barton had 3 chances at it. Sanders only had 1 hand.
Tim Brown is deep back, waiting the punt from Scott Player.
Once you hit 40, aren't you supposed to give that job up, returning punts?
You should. But he doesn't. 15 years in the NFL. He wants to return it from the 26. Brought down by Kevin Casper, who just joined this team. 12-yard return, 47-yard punt. Romanowski and the defense do their job. Now they give it back to Rich Gannon. Raiders have won 2 straight coming into today. The Cardinals have lost 4 in a row.
Raider fans have done for Halloween what Hallmark did for St. Valentine's Day.
from the 36, 1st and 10. Gannon, good block by Garner, batted down at the line of scrimmage. I think maybe Russell Davis got his big paw. He did. Second down and 10. This week on The Late Show, Dave's all-new show with Everybody Loves Raymond's Ray Romano, Jack Hanna's Animals, Liza Minnelli, and George Clooney. And Monday, don't miss Lisa Kudrow, plus all-new Stupid Pet Tricks. It's all new all this week on The Late Show right here on CBS.
Are they like Jack Hanna's Stupid Pet Tricks, Wild Animals?
He brings on some of the weirdest looking animals you've ever seen. Second down and 10. Dumps it off to Jerry Porter. Blocked by Barrett Robbins. Blocked by Jerry Rice. And pushed out of bounds by Adrian Wilson at about the 47. 12-yard pickup. Porter, well, you said something in the first half. Learning under Rice. Learning under Brown. What incredible teachers for this bright young receiver, Jerry Porter.
Well, the smart thing for him, too, is to learn who to follow. And in this case, he's going to follow Barrett Robbins, his center, coming out from his center position. See, he kind of brushes back, and suddenly you're out on a screen. Green Bay runs great screens because their linemen know how to get out in front. The Oakland Raiders aren't quite as good because their linemen are so big and don't run well.
1st and 10 from the 47 of Oakland. They go up the middle, and a tackle made by McKinnon on Charlie Garner. And he's into Arizona territory at the 47.
But that whole focus of the line, talking about not being, really fast and quick, it's a trade-off. Every team has to decide. Dave McGinnis and the Cardinals have decided they want a great big offensive line. The Raiders have always had a big physical offensive line, and the teams that run the screen pass the best are the teams that have the smaller linemen that can get out there and run in the timing.
Second down, long 5 inside the 49. We'll call it the 48. Switching the play is quarterback Rich Gannon.
Look out for Gannon.
Found something he liked, and there it is. Rice one-on-one with David Barrett, gain of 9. Just like that, he throws the dart there to the 40 and a first down.
When I watch Rich Gannon play quarterback right now, it's almost like watching a man walk around a fruit tree. And eventually he comes to a nice piece of ripe fruit that's right at eye level. He reaches out and he grabs it. And that play right there to Jerry Rice was just a nice big piece of ripe fruit that Rich Gannon calls the audible and just kind of plucks it right off the tree.
Jerry Rice. 3 Super Bowl rings. 1st and 10 from the 40. Pitch out to Garner. There's a block by Roland Williams, the tight end, and finally brought down by Dwayne Starks. We talk about the age of Rice. He's 40. Rich Gannon is 37 this December. Has a quarterback that age ever done the things that he is doing right now?
Consistently? You could look at Cunningham's year with Minnesota like we talked about. You could look at some of the years that other quarterbacks have had, but you don't ever see what you're seeing right here is production, efficiency go up as you get older. I mean, experience is one thing, but actually throwing better, that usually doesn't happen to anybody.
Wheatley in the backfield, 2nd down and 8 from the 38. The bearing down on Gannon, who just throws another dart, caught by Wheatley and hit out of bounds by LeVar Woods.
And going back to Gannon again real quick as he's once again carving this turkey up, it is, there's some similarities to think about here between the quarterbacks we're watching today. When Rich Gannon first came into this league, he was thought of as kind of a running guy who could lead your team, but he couldn't stand back there and throw for you. Jake Plummer's been a real comeback guy who's mobile and runs around a little bit, but people say, he's not a real pocket quarterback. The system makes the players, and this system has made Rich Gannon just unbeatable.
3rd and 7, 37-yard line. No huddle for Gannon. He looks to his second option, going deep. He's got Rice. Touchdown!
And when you're a coach, Kevin, and you opt for the big offensive line that can pass block like this for Rich Gannon, buy Jerry Rice the time to get down the field. If you don't pressure Rich Gannon, you don't have a shot. And when you're heading down the field, there's Jerry Rice, left side of your screen there, just runs, you know, just go long. Raises his arm, and that's not real complicated, but it needs time. And he had all the time he needed because the offensive line did a great job.
Janikowski's extra point. 37-yard strike to 40-year-old Jerry Rice. Has there ever been a greater player in the NFL?
Nope.
Sponsored by Radio Shack. This month only you'll find great deals on home entertainment products only at Radio Shack. And by Wendy's Bacon Swiss Cheeseburger and Chicken Bacon Swiss. It's better here.
Well, we're sitting up here just shaking our head about Jerry Rice, who just notched his 202nd career touchdown. It's a combination of runs and passes. His 72nd career 100-yard game.
There are entire organizations that haven't had 200 touchdowns in a decade.
He is something. The kick by Sebastian Janikowski. Kevin Casper at the 5-yard line, signed and passing the physical last night. Getting a nice block by Bush. It's a foot race with Williams. There is a flag. In fact, 2 flags down. Back inside the 40-yard line.
From both directions.
Yes.
One came from behind, one came from the front. I think that they saw the same thing.
Well, a 56-yard return could get wiped out, and it will.
I'll tell you, returning the kick is the one thing you don't need to practice to do.
Turn number 53. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Their special teams don't get penalized that often.
Michael Young, the linebacker, guilty of that hold.
Tough day for Dave McGinnis. Great day for the Raiders. Well, the Raiders are well represented here today with their fans.
And, you know, he doesn't keep that mask on the whole time because he's holding a half-empty beer. He's raised that thing at some time in the last few minutes.
Open sesame. 12-yard line, 1st and 10. Jake Plummer's got to throw, and that's exactly what he does. Going outside for Jason McGanley, a rookie out of Alabama. Spins his way for a first down. 12-yard pickup at the 26-yard line.
You know, Kevin, you hear that old thing, martial arts? He can take your heart out and then show it to you before you know you're dead. That describes Rich Gannon playing quarterback. And talk about a guy that can be detached. Is he excited? No, he's just doing what he's hired to do. I mean, dang it, why get excited? You're supposed to do this.
He expects to. You're right.
It's amazing. Like I said, this is a clinic.
Near the 25, 1st and 10, Marcel Schiff. Nice tackle made on the side by Travian Smith on a gain of 1. 2nd down and 9.
It's one thing that's really been impressive between Eric Barton and Tavian Smith and Romanowski. We've seen some excellent tackling by the Raider linebackers today when they've gotten their chances.
You were telling us last night that the Raider defensive playbook is almost as thick as the offensive playbook.
I find that hard to believe.
Wow.
But they have every imaginable front in Chuck Bresnahan's defense.
2nd down, 9 from the 25. Plummer hit by Trace Armstrong as he throws it outside.
You know, and Trace Armstrong's the one that told us about that. But you know, and Trace would be a great guy to talk about. He's president of the Players Association, just a real smart guy. But you know, this staff has been together forever. For all the John Gruden baloney this offseason, people forget. You know, they just made Bill Callahan the head coach because he deserves it for one thing. But this is basically the same staff. It's been together for a lot of years.
How does Armstrong pick apart an offensive line when he attacks it?
Well, normally it's very slowly, methodically. Now he's got Leonard Davis, 75. We should take a look at that matchup because 75 is a mountain. You just don't run around him.
2nd down, 9. They get 3rd down and 9 at the 25. And delay a game. Or movement, excuse me. Movement on that line.
Prior to the snap, ball starts. 67, offense. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
A reminder, 60 Minutes will be seen in its entirety immediately following the game, except on the West Coast. And it's a good one tonight, too. feature on Billy Crystal and the FBI. 3rd down and 14 back at the 20.
Billy Crystal works for the FBI?
He thinks he does.
That is a news story.
It's a news. Plummer with the throw, almost picked off, incomplete.
Bill Romanowski had that ball right through his thumbs. When you put your hands up like that, just if you're sitting at home, put your hands up in front of you like that. You see that, you know, the old Diamond Dallas Page, the diamond you have there in your hands. Well, the ball went right through the diamond for Bill Romanowski, right through the thumbs.
Throws into triple coverage on the play as well. Scott Player's had a busy day. 5th punt of the afternoon coming up for him. Tim Brown is deep back. Little rush in the punt. Sails. A flag is down. Brown fair catches the punt at the 43. 37-yard punt.
Coming from that deep, that official is watching the end man in the line of scrimmage for holding. That's going to be holding against the Raiders.
Special teams came back to bite them last week. They had blocked field goal.
Holding 33 on the receiving team while the kick was in the air. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick. 1st down.
Fumbled kickoff return last week. Penalties, touchdown return. They've had their special teams woes. Tonight on CBS, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin were America's favorite comedy duo until the day they shocked the nation by breaking up. CBS presents their true story in a world premiere movie event, Martin and Lewis, starring Emmy Award winner Sean Hayes, tonight 9/8 Central on CBS. Raiders get it back at their 33. Rich Gannon back out there. He has thrown 3 touchdown passes today.
Dr. Gannon.
Excuse me.
He's a cardiologist. He's doing a little heart surgery.
He's taking the heart out, like you said before. Garner in the backfield. He's got 79 yards on the ground and 11 carries. Rice is on the move. Garner, a block by Middleton. And a race with the stiff arm into David Barrett's Arizona defense. Out of bounds at about the 39. A gain of 6 on the play. That's a big body to be moving outside, but Middleton pulled right with his running back.
Well, yeah, it's momentum. Because when Middleton gets going, and there's a lot to get going,
it's downhill.
It's no matter which direction, if it's uphill or downhill, he's moving downhill speed-wise. And look, think of yourself as a corner. You're a 190-pound corner. You're looking at a guy that's probably about 350, 360, going as fast as he can, headed right for you.
2nd down, 4 at the 39. Garner again, a block by John Ritchie. And Adrian Wilson falls on the stumbling Charlie Garner. Thompson was there as well. Wade Thompson. There's Ritchie, who has not carried the ball all season long, but is a devastating blocker and a terrific presence in the locker room.
He's a little guard.
Yeah.
He's a little guard out of Stanford that he looks. I played with a guy named Phil Francis, who was a fullback out of Stanford. And he reminds me a lot of Phil Francis because he's kind of the anti-Stanford guy. You know, he looks like he should have come out of that Ted Kaczynski's, you know, Unabomber cabin somewhere. He got the beard and the weird looking thing.
3rd down and 4. 1st down strike caught by Gardner, and there he goes down the sideline. A race with Dwayne Starks, who gets him from behind. Charlie Garner may be as good a receiving running back as you will find in the NFL, galloping 42 yards right there for a 1st down.
And one thing you have to remember with the Raiders is what you see isn't always what they're then going to do to you. You saw a fake reverse. You saw a lead block by Ritchie. You saw a run by Garner, and then bang, they flip it out to Garner, and he goes 30, 40, 50 yards down the field. Mark Trestman and Bill Callahan have got as versified an offense as we've seen in the NFL in years here in Oakland, because they'll give you about every look. You've got to defend everything. It's not like I can go into a game and go, I'm going to take this guy away. Because if you take this guy away, let's say you take Garner away, then you got to worry about Wheatley, and you got to worry about Brown and Rice and Porter, who's like we talked about earlier, that new young lion where the main's coming out, because he's got himself some touchdown passes today in Mark Trestman's offense.
Well, to add some more juice to what Charlie Garner has done as a receiving running back, that's the 6th time this year he's caught a pass for over 20 yards, #1 in the NFL, as Starks walks off. Stark signed here for a lot of money, but do you think he wishes he was still in Baltimore?
A big piece of him wishes he had that money and he was still in Baltimore.
19-yard line, 1st and 10, Tyrone Wheatley. Hit low by Russell Davis on a gain of 5. To the 14.
There's a good example of the power you have to look. But the bottom line with the Raiders is Rich Gannon and Jerry Rice has got to have to be your #1 priority. He might be 40. He might be about a lot of records. But he's still about beating you. And no matter how he does it, short, medium, or long for a touchdown, I guarantee I played with this guy. Jerry Rice will beat you, period. And another 100-yard game for Jerry Rice.
And a 300-yard game for Rich Gannon, the 8th of the season. 2nd down 5 on the 14. Flag is down. Gannon to the end zone. Caught for a touchdown. Tim Brown, but a flag is down.
That was thrown right at the snap. If it wasn't motion, it might have been Arizona lining up offsides.
Brown has not caught a touchdown pass, and it goes for naught. But just to finish that off, Brown has not caught a touchdown pass in 7 weeks.
Offside, number 84, offense. Lined up in the neutral zone, 5-yard penalty. Repeat 2nd down.
That was Jerry Porter, who's got a couple touchdown passes himself today.
Well, the football masters Rice and Brown haven't taught young Porter everything. We have to get around to that lining up onside part.
10 Raider penalties this afternoon. Gannon is about as relaxed a looking quarterback in the pocket as any quarterback you'll see.
Well, he talked about being patient, and he's literally almost detached. It's almost like he's playing a video game. It's almost like he's sitting on a couch, just picking a defense apart with a video game.
2nd and 10. A shovel pass. That's incomplete. It's incomplete to Wheatley. Boy, the first thing you want to say is, oh, fumble, but it was forward. It's an incomplete pass. Now 3rd and 10 coming up. We're going to pass to Jim Nance in New York.
All right, Priest, Holmes again. This time it's Holmes off the right side. His 20th touchdown of the season, 3 today. The 20 is a new franchise record for a single season. Plus they get the 2. They're down 3 at Seattle. Let's go back to Kevin and Randy.
All right, Jim, thank you. Chiefs are a dynamic 4th quarter team, and they've scored more points in the 4th quarter than any team in the NFL this year.
Every football fan in America ought to get a chance to meet Priest Holmes, because he is the model of what class a football player should show. And the people of Kansas City are so lucky to have this guy.
Chiefs have had 3 come from behind 4th quarter wins this season. And they're well.
Yeah, both those CSI shows are unbelievable. That is so much fun to watch. I love the toys. They're kind of like Rich Gannon's got a lot of toys on his offense. Those shows have nothing but toys. It's all about technology.
Rice has a couple of catches on 3rd down today, and it will be 3rd down and 10 for Gannon, who last week threw for 297 yards, today for 331.
You know, for Jerry Rice, talk about his 2 catches on 3rd down. Coming into this game, 30 of his 31 catches on 3rd down, 30 of his 31 last catches were on 3rd down were for 1st downs.
19-yard line, 3rd down and 10. Gannon going deep to the end zone, and intended for Rice, broken up beautifully by Dwayne Starks. You can only smile.
Well, I mean, Jerry's like the IRS. Eventually he's going to get you. I mean, it's amazing to watch this guy do what he does, and Dwayne Starks does a very, very nice job. But you should stop mentioning age with Jerry Rice, because it's not only irrelevant to his style of play, it's irrelevant to his body.
Janikowski from 37 yards away, the Leckler hold, and the Raiders tack on 3 more. 38-14 Oakland. Raiders on their way to their 3rd consecutive win, moving to 7-4, and that would tie them with the San Diego Chargers and maybe Denver, who plays tonight against Indianapolis. Saturday, the season premiere of NCAA hoop.
And this is not an easy day to be a Bruin.
No, it is not.
Wow.
USC and UCLA yesterday. 7-play, 48-yard drive on the field goal by Janikowski.
You can only hope the basketball team keeps it a lot closer than the football team. That was, God, that was. And everybody's got an alma mater and a favorite team. And after going to UCLA and winning a Rose Bowl, and I'm in their Hall of Fame there in the athletic department.
You're getting inducted to your high school Hall of Fame in a couple of weeks?
They're honoring me, yeah.
Yeah. Well, you're going to be running out of Hall of Fames here in just a second.
You honor an alumni usually for money. I'm realistic. I think it's wonderful.
I know that's not why they're putting you in there. Here's Janikowski. And Kevin Casper from the 1-yard line for the Arizona Cardinals. And he got a nice block ahead from Bush and out of bounds at about the 35-yard line. 35-yard punt. Our kickoff returned by they're eating mishmash.
They're eating everything else on that island.
That's where they are.
Ugh.
Dominant third quarter by the Oakland Raiders, as you see. Jake Plummer has thrown a pick. He's turned it over twice from the 35, 1st and 10. Down the middle he goes to Marcel Shipp, one of the few bright spots for the Cardinals today. Hit by Sam Adams and steamrolled at the 42. Gain of 7.
Remember your old birthday, when they give you a few cracks for your birthday and then one to grow on? Marcel Shipp is kind of one to grow on for Arizona. He's a guy that you kind of now can put in your back pocket because maybe you've found somebody. Maybe this young guy can be the difference in your offense and really make up for Thomas Jones, who as a first-round pick has been pretty much a bust.
That's the last play of the third quarter. They've been booing Jake Plummer today here in Tempe. Oakland on top. 3 Gannon touchdown passes. A touchdown run by Wheatley. Also one by Garner, and a field goal by Janikowski adds up to a 38-14 Raider lead as we go to the 4th. We start the 4th quarter here at Sun Devil Stadium in Tempe, Arizona. 2nd down and long, 3 for Jake Plummer and the Cardinals outside the 41. And Plummer throws outside, drops by tight end Freddie Jones. Second drop for Jones today. In the East, the Miami Dolphins win their 2nd consecutive game at home. They beat Baltimore last week. They took care of San Diego today. The Jets won again. They're suddenly hot. New England won today over Buffalo.
And next up for the Jets are the Oakland Raiders.
I'm sorry, the Jets beat Buffalo. Yeah, now the Jets have a trip across the country, and they'll take on the Raiders.
Personally, I'm still not real convinced and sold on the Miami Dolphins. They can hold up for a whole year because they haven't in the last 10.
3rd down, long, 3. Plummer right on the money, but broken up beautifully on the play by Charles Woodson, who dives in front of McAdley, and the Cardinals have got a punt. And here is the AFC North.
That tie that Pittsburgh and Atlanta had a couple weeks ago is going to come back to haunt a lot of football teams trying to make the playoffs. We haven't seen one of those in a lot of years, and it's going to be a huge factor.
Player to punt. Tim Brown lets it drop inside the 10. Great Cardinal bounce. Down to the 3, and Kobe Reinhart downs it there. 55-yard punt. Raiders leave it 38-14 on the Arizona Cardinals. 14:40 to play. Great day for Rich Gannon. 3 touchdown passes. And from his 3, 1st and 10. Outside, Charlie Garner drops it. 2nd down and 10. You don't see that very often. Tennessee lost today against Baltimore. Colts play tonight in Denver.
And we'll be in New York next week for that Titans and Giants game. And this AFC South is going to be another one of the 9-7 kind of feel to it by the time this whole thing is done with. Yeah, because Indy is not bad on offense. It's been a little erratic with Peyton Manning and company, but defense is where they've made the most improvement lately.
2nd down and 10 from the 3. Sims with the block, buys time for Gannon, who throws a little bit short to John Ritchie, and then hit by Ray Thompson. Brought down at about, they call it incomplete? No, they call it completed pass. Gain of 4 to the 7. Good spot. It looked like they were going back in the end zone to huddle again. Anyway, it is a completed pass, although it was caught very, very low. And the West in the AFC.
I think if you had to pick one team you should be careful of, in spite of the 440 some odd offensive yards this offense for Oakland has through a little more than 3 quarters, Denver would be the team I'd watch in the West.
On the 7, 3rd down and 6. Hannon, plenty of time. Goes to Brown, has to get to the 13 and is down at about the 12. About a yard shy of the first, and Oakland will punt for the first time in the second half. They had scored on their 3 previous second half possessions.
Yeah, and there isn't an offense in the NFL right now that coming out at the beginning of the game, going in at the end of the first half, or coming out at the end of halftime does it better offensively than Oakland. Oakland get that first score and the last score of a half and do something like that first possession of a half better than anybody in the game.
Shane Leckler to punt. Arnold Jackson watches it go out of bounds. What is interesting about that miss by Brown, not capturing a first down, it's the first time all season on 3rd down that he has not gotten a first down. Nonetheless, the Raiders rolling on the Cardinals.
On CBS is sponsored by Ford. With 150 million vehicles sold, Ford is America's #1 choice. Nextel. Nextel. How business gets done. And by Staples. Get back time. Go to Staples.
Arizona Cardinals, unless they get a dramatic comeback, are headed for their 5th consecutive loss. Raiders headed for their 3rd consecutive win. Best beginning field position for Arizona this afternoon from the 46, 1st and 10. Marcel Shipp in the backfield, taking the place of the injured Thomas Jones, who broke his hand at his home on Friday. That's caught by Frank Sanders, brought down by Eric Barton, spun at the 38-yard line, about a flag thrown at the end of that play, about 2 yards shy of the first down on the game. And against the Oakland Raiders.
Personal foul. Face mask. Number 50. Defense. 15 yards. The end of the run. Down.
Well, Eric Barton picks it up.
This is kind of what the Cardinals needed more of earlier. I mean, up until this possession, their best field position to start a drive was their own 22. And they've had to go the long way of the field every time they've had it, except for this one. And offensively, their numbers show it.
With the first down at the Raider 23, Jake Plummer with 3 receivers deployed. Plummer hit and brought down by Sam Adams. That's the first sack by the Raiders today, and the first sack in 6 games by Adams.
But Jake Plummer has to feel like he just got hit by an avalanche with feet. I mean, you're getting ready to step up into the pocket to see what was going on, and suddenly Big 95 just steamrolls him. I mean, he's look at that. That's just kind of like those speed bumps in the supermarket lot. Just bump, bump.
Big bumps.
What was that? That was Jake.
2nd down and 20. 33-yard line with the loss. Plummer this time across the middle. It's caught by Freddie Jones. Brought down by Romanowski at the 27-yard line. Gain of 10 on the play. The NFC East. Philly at 7-3. Giants at 6-4, and they are losing right now in Houston to the expansion Texans.
Hey, you know, and everybody in this country seems to want to bury Philadelphia because they don't have Donovan McNabb. And granted, he's a very valuable player, but Andy Reid is a heck of a football coach. He'll find a way to try to make up for some of his contribution.
Plummer on 3rd down and 10, running for his life. Here comes Romanowski. There's the pass, and it's caught. Sanders at the 10, and he's got a first down. A 16-yard pickup on 3rd and 10.
That's that matchup you were talking about earlier. Jake had to roll out to get it, but he got Torrey James working against Frank Sanders. It's a very short list, in case you were wondering mentally, of quarterbacks that can throw that ball heading to their left like that, running as fast as Jake was, and be as accurate with that ball as Jake Plummer was.
They have not gone to James's side, Torrey James's side, all that often. 1st and 10 at the 11, but they should because they've had success. Plummer. Again, Lee can't hold on. Charles Woodson is over there defending. 2nd and 10. This team has lost Marte Jenkins, very effective player, and David Boston. You can just imagine how much more powerful this offense would be with those 2 players alone.
Well, we talked about Frank Sanders. And I mean, you've got a draft pick in McCadley and not a high draft pick, mind you.
They're number 5.
And you've got Frank Sanders, and then you've got guys. And Poole may eventually be a wide receiver in this league, and Soliday may be a wide receiver, and Jackson may be a wide receiver, but right now they're guys.
2nd down and 10 from the 11 for Plummer. Out of the pocket, he rolls and fires for a touchdown pass into the end zone. Arnold Jackson, who got a touchdown last week in Philadelphia, catches one here in the 4th quarter against the Raiders.
Well, Arnold Jackson might be a guy, but he's now a guy with another touchdown. 2 to his credit, and Jake Plummer moving and running to his right as a good mobile quarterback will. As accurate as he was going to the left, he's just as accurate going to the right.
2nd touchdown pass by Jake Plummer today. Ship has a touchdown run, and that has accounted for all the Arizona scoring. They're going to go for 2.
Three wide receivers.
Sanders on the move. Ship in the backfield. Rolling out of the pocket, Plummer, and broken up nicely on the play by Terrence Shaw. So they fail on the 2-point try. But they do get in on Jake Plummer's 2nd touchdown pass this afternoon. This an 11-yard strike to Arnold Jackson. Cardinals haven't died. That's what their coach has said has been the best thing about them so far, is they have not quit on him or on themselves.
But the reality of the situation, talent-wise, this is like a middleweight fighting a heavyweight. It's just not the same tools.
Bill Gramatica. Line drive boot. Marcus Knight. Good pickup at the 15-yard line. Hit and brought down by Ray Thompson. Flag has been thrown back where the ball was kicked off at about the 32-yard line.
Yeah, the parade's still going on.
10 penalties on the Raiders today, and on the Cardinals 5.
Offside on the kicking team, number 53. That penalty is declined. Oakland will take the ball, 1st down.
NFC North, Green Bay is losing right now in Tampa 21-7 with about 7 minutes to play. So they're going to lose their 2nd consecutive game.
You want motivation in your Tampa Bay? You come out with a better record, you don't have to go to Green Bay and play in that freezing cold weather come playoff time where you've never won.
Cannon on 1st and 10. Intended for Rice. Ricochets up on the deflection. The coverage by David Barrett. 2nd down and 10. In the NFC South, you got the Buccaneers looking at 9-2, and they had a good team, as you mentioned before. Atlanta with another convincing win today. They are quietly creeping up in the South.
Yeah, there's your 2002 surprise team. Everybody likes to pick one out at the beginning of the year. Not many people picked out the Atlanta Falcons, but they are playing on both sides of the ball right now. Extremely solid. Then you add Michael Vick, and it's a deadly combination.
Or New Orleans at 7-4. 2nd down and 10. Garner blocked by Ritchie. Charlie Garner in the backfield. A flag has been thrown. And Adrian Wilson, among others, there to help make the stop on the elusive Charlie Garner. And against the Raiders.
Holding, 86, offense, 10-yard penalty, 2nd down.
Tight end And Roland Williams tonight on 60 Minutes. While it may surprise you that the FBI isn't all it's cracked up to be, it won't surprise you that Billy Crystal is. Both stories tonight on 60 Minutes. Then don't miss Becker and Everybody Loves Raymond, followed by a world premiere movie event with Sean Hayes starring in Martin and Lewis, the true story of America's favorite comedy duo. That's tonight on CBS. It's 2nd down and 17. Gannon fires downfield, incomplete, looking for Rice. And tailed by Lassiter. 3rd and 17.
They will take our tour around the league here. Continues with San Francisco and St. Louis. St. Louis losing today to the ball coach.
Washington.
And the Redskins.
Yep, Redskins.
That's a big loss, especially when you consider, you know, the whole Kurt Warner thing and everything else. I happen to have been of the opinion that, you know, it would have been a lot better to stay where you were, stay on the horse you were with. Conveniently for the Rams, the bad finger meant Bolger couldn't go.
3rd down, 17, 22. Dumping it off to Wheatley through his hands and incomplete. As a player, did you find it hard to concentrate when you had a sizable lead going to the 4th quarter?
Well, you know, if you're Bill Callahan, this is something to build on. I mean, and he's not happy, and he shouldn't be happy because his offense is sloppy. They've dropped the ball. This is their 2nd straight 3 and out. But this is something you spend time on during the week. You're getting ready for the Jets next week. What is your emphasis for next week? Stay clean, stay focused, keep performing, keep focusing, keep getting the offense down efficiently down the field, and don't let up, because the last 2 possessions are let up.
A lot of time left too as Leckler gets ready to send this downfield, and a flag has been thrown as LeVar Woods got under Leckler. It was 4th and a mile, 4th and about 17. Penalty is on the Cardinals.
That's running in. That's not running into the kicker. Not roughing the kicker. That's running into the kicker.
Right.
That's not an automatic 1st down.
Personal foul, roughing the kicker, number 56.
Whoa.
Defense, 15-yard penalty, 1st down.
He just sailed under him, trying to avoid him.
Roughing? Bill Carollo is our referee. He's been calling this game a long time. Come underneath. I guess it's that plant leg when he comes down, makes contact, that institutes. That's not roughing. I'm sorry. That's running into the kicker. That ought to be 5 yards and a re-kick. That wasn't even a good acting job. You know, Leckler ran to the sideline, was kind of holding up his hand like, I'm okay, I'm okay. You should be okay. Nobody hit you.
Yeah.
You know, I dare you to find much in the way of contact here. Just barely a little boost into the foot.
Slid right under him. 1st and 10, Charlie Gardner. Great block by Jolly. Rookie tight end. That opens up a gain of 7 up to the 47-yard line.
I tell you, Barry Sims and Matt Stinchcomb have had some very big blocks at times this year, and Jolly added to the mess on the left side, just caving that whole thing down on that one.
So Garner picks up 7, setting up 2nd down and 3. Garner 95 yards on the ground today.
And Lincoln Kennedy and his offensive line wanted to make a point of getting a game like this where they could run the ball and feel good and get their chance. Now's when you run it.
44-yard line. And submarining up to the 49, and a gain of 5 again is Charlie Gardner. And he's got the 1st down. You still have not seen any resignation in the play of the Cardinals today.
Yeah, they're not a team that's going to lay down. And that's because of Dave McGinnis and the kind of coach he is. I mean, they've kind of brought a penknife to a gunfight today. They haven't had quite the weaponry they need to stay with the Raiders, but they're not going to quit.
Gannon on 1st and 10. Little play action. Being chased by Dennis Johnson, among others, along with Marcus Bell. He goes out of bounds, scrambling to the 44, picking up about 6 yards on the play.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see some of the people that are of the opinion that mobile quarterbacks aren't what you want in the NFL, as Michael Vick does more and more in this league. How important that position and that ability is. You know, his cousin Aaron Brooks in New Orleans is another quarterback that can really buy time with his feet, but there's not a better one doing it for the whole package right now than Rich Gannon here in Oakland.
The Giants just went up on Houston late in the game in Texas, 2nd down 4. Look at Tyrone Wheatley, bursts down to the 32. Great acceleration, 13-yard romp, and another first down for the Raiders. Doing it exactly the way they want to. Running the ball, eating up the clock, and flexing their muscle every step of the way.
This is what they want to do at this point of the game, and also at this point of the season. We mentioned it early in the game. You've got to get this type of running going. Not only the Garner run, but the power of Wheatley. And Arizona has allowed right now a season-high 481 yards to this Raider offense.
33-yard line, 1st and 10. Gannon going deep down the middle, intercepted by Kwame Lassiter. Lassiter picks off his 2nd pass of the season. Gannon throws his 2nd interception in the last month. It's his 9th of the year. But he has thrown 3 touchdowns today. The Cardinals stop Oakland. Cardinal quarterback Jake Plummer has had 20 career comebacks. Does he have a 21st in his pocket today?
Yeah, Rich Gannon for the Oakland Raiders, though, on the other side from Plummer. We'll get a chance to watch him try to make a comeback, but Gannon is so detached. I mean, he's unemotional. Jake's a fiery quarterback. Rich almost seems unconcerned.
On the 7 after the Lassiter interception, here comes Plummer being decked once, hit twice, and brought down. Ron Coleman was there, among others. That is the 2nd sack on him. Tonight on 60 Minutes, while it may surprise you that the FBI isn't all it's cracked up to be, it will not surprise you that Billy Crystal is. Both stories tonight on 60 Minutes. Then don't miss Becker and Everybody Loves Raymond, followed by a world premiere movie event. Emmy winner Sean Hayes, starring in Martin and Lewis, the true story of America's favorite comedy duo, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. And the breakup that shocked the nation.
He looks like Jerry Lewis.
He does. It's all tonight here on CBS, America's most watched network. 2nd down 14 with the sack, back at the 3. Marcel Shipp held on to by Coleman, runs into Rod Woodson, then torn down at the 10-yard line. Gain of 7. This kid has been very impressive, the most decorated player in the history of the football program at UMass. 135 yards.
He's done it in chunks, too. It's not like they've pounded the ball 35 times with Marcel Shipp. He's had the big plays, but the big plays on the ground just have not come in the 2nd half.
3rd down and 7 from the 10. And Plummer standing in the pocket. Ball was deflected, and it goes incomplete. The Cardinals will have to punt, and we'll punt our way up to New York and Jim Nance.
All right, Kevin, this is the clincher at Seattle. Long run of the season. Sean Alexander, 46 yards. He has 145 on the day. And the Seahawks all over Kansas City with a little more than a minute to go. Let's go back to Kevin and Randy.
Thank you, Jim. What's your read on Seattle and Mike Holmgren?
Well, I know Sean Alexander, he either gets 6 yards or 160 yards. There's no in between with this guy.
Fair caught back at the 37-yard line by Tim Brown. Is Mike Holmgren in trouble, you think?
Maybe with all his roles. I think Paul Allen is very convinced up there that Mike's the coach he needs. I'm not sure if he doesn't need a little bit of help personnel-wise, because their personnel is lacking, especially their decisions.
He took most of that Green Bay staff with him. Tonight on CBS, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin were America's favorite comedy duo, and they loved each other like brothers until the day they shocked the nation by breaking up. CBS presents their true story in a world premiere movie event. Martin and Lewis, starring Emmy Award winner Sean Hayes. That's tonight, 9, 8 Central here on CBS. Gannon and the Raider offense take over on the 38, 1st and 10. Pitch out to Tyrone Wheatley. Running by McKinnon. Banged by Dwayne Starks and knocked out of bounds at about the 44. Wheatley, who struggled after being a high pick with the Giants, went to camp with Miami, let go there, and vacuumed in by the Raiders and promptly gained 1,000 yards and helped them along with Gannon and the other great signees by this team to wonderful heights and 2 straight Western Division titles.
Well, the Raiders came into this game averaging over 401 yards a game in offense, and they're within a first down or so of making that 500 yards. 486 right now total offense for Rich Gannon in this offense for Oakland.
Marcus Knight is in motion, 44-yard line, 2nd down and 4. Pitch out to Wheatley. Barry Sims tried to throw a block and a loss in the play of about a yard. Well, the thing about Rich Gannon is it's hard to get a feel for how he is emotionally, because when he throws a touchdown, as he did here to Jerry Rice,
oh well,
while the crowd erupts and his teammates go crazy, he calmly watches on. And then moments ago, when he throws an interception, and a lot of quarterbacks might be kicking themselves, he just strolls to the sideline and says, oh, all right.
oh well, job not done. It's amazing. You know, that last play by Kwame Lassiter, that interception, was a great play by Lassiter, almost baiting Rich Gannon.
43-yard line, 3rd down and 5. Wheatley in the backfield, and everybody moved early. Gannon is a no-nonsense guy. There may not be another quarterback
5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Who studies as much as Rich Gannon, is, you know, not a rah-rah guy as we have just seen right there. He is truly a leader by his display of studying during the week, of his emotions on the field during a game. His leadership is how he acts and not what he says.
Well, you know, part of his strength is his experiences, not his experience. You learn, you know, human beings don't learn by positive reinforcement usually. It's usually by negative reinforcement and bad things. A lot of bad things have happened to Rich, but he's learned from them, and it's what really makes him the quarterback he is.
3rd down and 10 from the 38. Gannon strolls back in the pocket. Look at the time he's got to throw. Here comes Wakefield with the late hit, incomplete. Looking for Wheatley on the side. Let's send it back to New York in our studios and Jim Nance.
We have an all-time NFL record in this game. Combined first downs by the team, 64. But the Chiefs get on the board. Bo Richter hauls it in. The onside kick, though, recovered by Bobby Ingram. Seattle's going to run out the clock for the win. Let's go back to you.
Bo Richter, kid off the practice squad, caught a couple touchdown passes mid-season at San Diego. People thought he would emerge, but he has been staying off in the shadows, but does catch one today in Seattle. So now the punt by the Raiders, out of bounds at about, they're still marking it off on the sideline, the 28-yard line. That's where Jake Plummer and the Arizona Cardinals will take over. You know, we touched on Holmgren just a second ago. Can a guy successfully, and I guess we've seen a couple different circumstances like this in the league, be as effective a coach as he is a GM, or as GM as he is a coach?
Well, one of the critical things to remember is we've seen teams win in this league without a great quarterback, but with a good defense. We've seen them work with not much defense, but a great offense. None of those really fit the Seattle Seahawks. They don't have a strength. What are they strong at? They're strong at Mike Holmgren's reputation. Ted Thompson in the front office does a great job personnel. I mean, that's their strength is probably not on the football field. They need to get the strength more where it matters.
Deflected pass caught on the ricochet by tight end Freddie Jones up to the 29. Gain of about a yard. 2nd down and 9.
And it doesn't help that Seattle kind of stepped into the mess that is the NFC West now.
Yes.
Arizona found out about the NFC West this year, having to go against the Niners and the Rams, and it's a whole different setup. And I know they've been in the NFC East here in Arizona and how great Smash Mouth is in the East, and yada, 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 yada. But you talk about some action and some offense, they've run into a lot of it being on this West Coast.
You're kind of a, when we talk about general managers and putting teams together, you're kind of an amateur GM yourself, looking as you do at the different parts of this league. What would you do if you were the Cardinals? How would you fix this problem in Arizona?
Well, you're going to go with size inside and speed outside. They've got the size thing covered, especially on offense in the line. Defensive line, think of all the draft choices, the Swans and the Wadsworths, and they go down the list, the Simeon Rice, and down. They've had a lot of bad failed draft choices who were consensus good players that haven't worked out in the NFL.
Freddie Jones on 2nd and 9 gets the pass for a gain of 2 to the 31.
But you know, it's here in St. Louis, here in Arizona. I think the key would be speed. If I had to concentrate on one thing for a football team, a tough team that has talent and has speed to be a deadly combination.
3rd and 7 from the 31 for Jake Plummer. Wanted to go deep, and he's got his receiver McGagley downfield, and he overthrows him. Incomplete. Cardinals have got a punt. Would you re-sign and pick up your option on the quarterback, Jake Plummer?
Well, it depends on what you want to do. I made a comment the other day in the papers here in Arizona that if you want to go cheap and put the money somewhere else, it's not a bad idea. I mean, you need it in other places. But I will guarantee you one thing. If Jake Plummer is not back with Arizona, he's playing with somebody. And that's somebody he's going to play with. The odds are he's going to be winning with that football team because he's a winning quarterback.
Clear to punt again. Tim Brown back, and he'll signal for and be allotted a fair catch back at the 27. 42-yard punt with 3:30 to play.
The problem with a quarterback like Jake Plummer, they've got to always feel like they've got to win the game. And his mistakes early in this game were a direct reflection of an attitude like that. I mean, always has to try to do something special. And quarterbacks that are the most successful aren't trying to be special. And Rich Gannon's a great example of that.
Gannon comes back out. Would you play Gannon, or would you go to Tuiasosopo, his backup?
Well, he can hand off as good as Tuiasosopo.
But why not give him,
Well, he's not going to let her. Leave him in there, let him hand off the ball.
Oh, I'd bring in the other kid. I'd bring in Marcus.
You want to get his letter, huh?
Tuiasosopo.
Little silver and black jacket.
Yeah. It's Wheatley on 1st and 10 for a gain of 2 to the 30. Raiders take on the Jets next week. That'll be a beauty on Monday night. And Randy and I will be in San Diego for the Raiders and the Chargers, and that could have huge consequences in the West.
West. Kansas City, Denver, San Diego. Those games are where this division will be won this year. If you're an AFC West fan, you don't have to look any further than those 3 dates to tell you and to find out who's going to win the NFC West.
Arizona will play at Kansas City next week. Chiefs have gone to 5-6, and because of that, they are in deep trouble now in the AFC West.
Look at the offenses. You got Kansas City's offense will be going against this defense that just got lit up by the Raiders. Then you got the St. Louis offense that's waiting to crank on somebody again. San Francisco's offense that's very diversified, much like Oakland's offense. And then Denver with Mike Shanahan.
Second down and 8 at the 30. Tough day for Dave McGinnis, a guy who was the linebacker coach for those great Chicago Bears teams back in the mid-'80s and into the early 90s. Williams got Wheatley in the backfield against the pitch out. Looks like the University of Michigan. Great block by Jerry Porter. And down the sideline goes Tyrone Wheatley. Another wide receiver block opens the door. And he is knocked out of bounds at the Cardinal 34, a pickup of 36 yards. Let's go back to our studios in New York and Jim Nance.
All right, fellas, Tampa Bay over Green Bay today. Favre picked 4 times. Brad Johnson with a little touchdown pass here to Dilger. Could we be on our way to a little Gruden Bowl down the road? Tampa Bay a winner here. Let's go back to where Oakland's winning out there in Arizona.
Thank you, Jim. Could you see that? Callahan against Gruden? Would that be something else?
Tampa still doesn't get the money or the draft picks back.
Right. 1st and 10. Nice defensive play by Ray Thompson, tripping up Tyrone Wheatley. Now they are 9-2.
Right.
Their offense still isn't prolific the way it was predicted to be, but good enough to win and good enough to beat Green Bay.
They're all about defense.
So now, how do you survey the landscape of the NFC with teams like San Francisco and now Atlanta and Green Bay, and let's put Tampa Bay in there at 9-2. They got the best record in the NFC.
Yeah, it's you know, they've been in this position before where they're sort of looking like they're just strutting down the street, getting ready to go to the playoffs. It's can they keep this whole thing going? And you know, they whistling and looking up in the air, and somebody comes along and puts one on their chin.
2nd and 13 at the 37. Wheatley stopping on a dime, then wrapped up by Fred Wakefield and brought down. Loss of about 2 back to the 39. Here's a good question for you. I'm asking about every question I can think of right now. What is the better conference, AFC or NFC?
Well, NFC's got the better records, but I think the AFC has the better football teams. You know, regardless of the 9-2s and the 8-3s and the 7-3s and whatnot on the other side, I think the best football in the National Football League is played in the AFC right now. And the records wouldn't indicate that, but I think you have to look a little closely and see that these teams in the East and the teams in the West and in the AFC side are spending more time beating up each other than beating up other people in this league. I'll tell you another thing. Bill Callahan's done a wonderful job so far with the Raiders. And somebody that doesn't get credit in a positive way, I think, enough is probably Al Davis. You know, Al Davis made what is still going to prove to be, I think, a wonderful deal with letting Gruden go to Tampa. You look at the draft picks 2 years from now that come out of that deal, and if they can do as well next year as they did this year with those picks that Al Davis got them, you know, this team is going to stay right where it is because they'll keep mixing the youth with the older players, which has been a great formula for a lot of years here in Oakland.
3rd and 15. Wheatley again and from behind, brought down by Marcus Bell. It's a gain of 6. Well, they knew something. Davis knew something that maybe the rest of us didn't know, is that there was a good backup in Callahan to take the place of Gruden.
Any smart executive or owner always plans for the future, and Al did.
Raiders have totaled 524 yards on offense today. They lead at 38-20. Gannon's got 3 touchdown passes. Janikowski is lining up for his 2nd field goal attempt. He knocked his first through from 37. This will be 51. This would be a season long.
1 step. Check out the run up. He's changed this.
From 3 steps to 1.
Yep. He's got enough leg. He's going for accuracy and consistency.
Wow, that would have been good from 61 yards. But he knocks it in from 51. And 2nd today by Sebastian Janikowski. That is a season long for him.
Well, this football team, Kevin, is whipping out weapons everywhere. When you think about what this team can do to you, you almost forget about Janikowski and the leg that he has and what he can do for Bill Callahan and how far out he can score from.
How about just his kickoffs alone? The fact that he can
touchbacks?
Yes.
Oh yeah. That's invaluable. I mean, that's we talk about the hidden yardage factor. There's no hidden yardage when you're doing that. That just you're starting on the 20. Period. End of report.
Every time. He leads the NFL in touchbacks. He had 16 coming into today, and I think he's had 1 today. he is bigger than anything, and better than Evian water in France. But at one time that
they bottled Evian water in Torrance. Did you know that?
I did not know that. But again, actually maybe Switzerland for all I know.
Let's see if Janikowski can keep this length in his kicks. He's even shortened the run up on his kickoffs.
It's like shortening up your backswing in golf, I guess, huh? Line drive boot. Picked up on a bounce by Banks, the backup tight end. And he vacuums it in and then plows ahead to the 40-yard line. Mike Banks, a rookie out of Iowa. 18-yard return. Cardinals have 1 timeout, 1:48 to play. Jake Plummer will go back on out there and see what he can accomplish over the next minute 48.
This is pure flinging it time for the Arizona Cardinals. The key for the offensive line, protect your quarterback. The last thing you want now on this offense or on this football team is another injury.
Plummer on 1st and 10. Here comes the rush by Coleman, throwing outside, incomplete, looking for his tight end, Freddie Jones. All right, we told you that Green Bay loses to Tampa Bay. Houston now is up with 67 seconds remaining on the New York Giants. Seattle, what a high-scoring, fun game that must have been, 39-32. Over the Kansas City Chiefs.
And Miami spanked San Diego earlier today. I want to go back to that Houston Giant game. You got to be kidding me.
2nd down and 10 from the 40. Plummer comes out of a congested pocket, chased by Ron Coleman. Throws on the fly and intercepted. And by Torrey James, the guy that Plummer criticized in the press earlier this week, comes back to pick him off. And Plummer has thrown his 2nd interception and the 3rd Arizona turnover this afternoon.
With 1:35, I think Rich Gannon or whoever comes in at quarterback here for the Raiders just going to church. They're just kneeling down.
It's Gannon. They'll be kneeling.
They won't let Tuiasosopo get his letter.
I don't know why.
I guys can't understand that.
Gruden drafted this kid, and they liked him when they got him out of.
Oh, he's a winner, and he's a son of an old teammate of mine.
Yes.
I played with Manu.
Yep.
Tuiasosopo, defensive tackle for the UCLA Bruins, and played for the Niners and the Seahawks. But this kid, Marcus Tuiasosopo, is a first-class winning quarterback who's going to get to learn behind one of the best.
Absolutely. One last stop in New York in our studios with Jim Nantz.
All right, guys, you got to check this out. Warren Sapp out of control at the end of the game and takes on Mike Sherman. Let's listen in. Telling Sherman to put a jersey on. He pushed a staff member from Green Bay on the way out, too. Let's go back to you.
What a way to finish in Tampa Bay.
There's a test waiting to happen there.
Wow.
I think they should have hid the coffee pot from Warren. He seems a little bit too geeked.
What is the league doing something like that? What should they do in something like that?
It shouldn't be tolerated. Period.
The executive producers of the NFL on CBS, Sean McManus and Tony Petitti, coordinating director Larry Cavallina. Today's game produced by Bob Deacus, our good friend. Bob, thank you for a terrific season. And directed by Bob Lanning. Great shots today, Bob. Thank you. The senior producer of the NFL Today, Eric Mann. Directed by Bob Mattina. The coordinating producer of CBS Sports, Harold Bryant. Associate director of today's game, Fred Johnson. Broadcast associate Jason Headings, technical manager Rick Godwin. Special thanks to our statisticians Pat McGrath and Gary Brown.
And Fred Johnson, proud father.
That's right. Terrific little 9-pound, 3-ounce baby girl.